And we brought together a number of large companies back in 2016, and we decided to build a program around procurement and what we actually call social procurement. And we decided that we'd put a big number in place, a big target. We wanted to bring £1 billion of spend with social enterprises from that group of companies. That group's grown. CBRE is one of 30 companies signed up to it now. We've got other FM providers on there as well, such as Mighty and Sodexo. But we've got companies from across all sorts of sectors of the economy. The way the program works, really, we help the procurement contact. It's usually a procurement lead that we deal with directly. We help them to make the business case across their business for working with social enterprises. We help to show them the benefits of working with social enterprises. And we also do a lot around just getting social enterprises in front of them. So that's sharing intel.
Hello and welcome to Navigating ESG in Facilities in the Workplace. My name is Darren Pardy and I'm delighted to be joined by Andy Daly, who is Head of Corporate Partnerships at Social Enterprise UK. Andy, thanks for joining me. How are you doing today?
Hi, Darren. I'm very well, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, all good, thank you. Thanks for your time again. Let's just dive in, shall we?
Sure.
So how did you get involved in social enterprise? What's your background?
So I'm on my second career, I suppose. I was a teacher for quite a while, but transitioned into the sort of world of social impact, social enterprise about 10 years ago. It was a business model that I'd become more familiar with, and I did a fantastic leadership development program many years ago called On Purpose, which just gives you a fantastic grounding in what social enterprises are, what social impact is, and all that sort of stuff. And I've worked at quite a few social enterprises over the years, and also social enterprise support bodies, foundations and training organizations. But my big area of interest and my big passion really has always been where social enterprise and procurement come together. For many years, I've seen the power of corporate spending power, and I've just seen, well, that's where the world really can be pushed into a slightly better place, where big companies just decide, look, we're spending all of this money every day on all sorts of goods and services. If we can switch some of that to social enterprises, it's a win-win-win. And so I've been interested in that and working in that field for quite a while now. I've been at Social Enterprise UK for about 5 years, and that's the big thing that I work on. So I actually spend most of my time talking to people in the world of procurement rather than social enterprises, but I enjoy both.
Yeah. Brilliant. And how's kind of social impact and social value changed in recent years?
Yeah, it's really, really changed a hell of a lot, even just in the 5 years I've been at Social Enterprise UK. One way of summarizing it is that I suppose 5 years ago, it felt like we were talking to the world about social value. And now it feels like lots and lots of people are coming to talk to us about social value. So a bit of background, 11 years ago now, actually, the Social Value Act was passed, which I'm sure a lot of your listeners will be familiar with. And we're very proud of that at SE UK because we helped to write that legislation, helped to get that onto the statute books as a private member's bill. And when that came into force in January 2013, we were really proud of it. We were excited to see what sort of a change it would bring about. I think in the early years of the Act, it didn't really have the teeth that it needed. It didn't really drive so much change, not as much as we wanted. I suppose back then it was an enabler rather than a real driver. So people who really wanted to push for social value, they could point to the Social Value Act, public sector commissioners, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But over the last few years with PPN 0620, was it something like that, 21? The new procurement policy, new social value model, I think has really helped to drive a lot of change. And so, I think now a lot of companies, especially if you want to sell into the public sector, you have to be able to show social value in your tenders, of course. So that's the mechanism which has thankfully brought a lot of organizations to look at social value and social enterprises as a solution for that.
and where they spend their money. Fantastic.
Yeah.
And we first met at a CBRE event, I think
Mm,
last year.
mm.
How do you support FM partners to engage with social enterprises?
Yeah, so CBRE are a great partner of ours. They're signed up to a program called the Buy Social Corporate Challenge.
Right,
So our broader message to the world is Buy Social. That's BUY, by the way.
right.
So whether you're government or private sector, or even as consumers, our message is if you spend money with social enterprises, then there's a positive social benefit, there's a positive environmental benefit there. And within the sort of private sector, in 2016, we launched this program, the Buy Social Corporate Challenge. We saw that a lot of big businesses were looking at their procurement spend and realizing, well, we've got our CSR budget over here. That's doing
Yep.
some good. But we've got our procurement spend here, which dwarfs the CSR spend. I think our calculation was that the average FTSE 100 company, its procurement is about 400 times its CSR budget. So we were becoming very interested in that space.
Wow.
And we brought together a number of large companies back in 2016, and we decided to build a program around procurement and what we actually call social procurement. And we decided that we'd put a big number in place, a big target. We wanted to bring £1 billion of spend with social enterprises from that group of companies. That group's grown. CBRE is one of 30 companies signed up to it now. We've got other FM providers on there as well, such as Mighty and Sodexo. But we've got companies from across all sorts of sectors of the economy. The way the program works, really, we help the procurement contact. It's usually a procurement lead that we deal with directly. We help them to make the business case across their business for working with social enterprises. We help to show them the benefits of working with social enterprises. And we also do a lot around just getting social enterprises in front of them. So that's sharing intel. It's online tools such as our social enterprise directory. And it's also events, meet the buyer events, and that kind of thing. So lots of ways that we help them to sort of win hearts and minds across their organizations. And then just help them to connect with social enterprises directly. And the great news is that the market really has grown on the supply side. So if you look at the number of social enterprises across the UK, our estimate in fact, this number is a few years old now, our estimate is that there are at least 100,000 social enterprises across the UK, contributing £60 billion annually to GDP, employing about 5% of the workforce, which I always think is quite an interesting number. But these numbers are growing all the time. And so it is quite a bit easier in 2023 compared with a few years ago to find B2B social enterprises that can work successfully in the corporate market. It is becoming easier, but it's still a really exciting and really interesting area to work in.
Fantastic. And you mentioned the corporates. How do, if you're a medium-sized business or a small business, how would they procure services with social enterprises?
Yeah, so we've got the Buy Social Corporate Challenge, which is in a way our flagship program in this area. And I suppose that's the proof of concept, which we've been running since 2016. But we also have a program called Social Procurement Connect, and that is for any size business. You don't have to be a very large FTSE corporate. So it's any size business. You might be a higher education institution, you might be a social housing provider, you might even be public sector. But any organization that spends money, you can join the Social Procurement Connect program, and you get all of those benefits as well. So it's just being able to tap into the SE UK team and find the best social enterprises for your day-to-day business requirements. If anyone's interested, just go to our website, find the Social Procurement page, and there's a couple of great programs on there that people can step into quite easily.
I'll put it on the link below when we
Brilliant.
post.
Great. Thanks,
and I suppose from your point of view, targeting the FM industry where they employ tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people, and they spend as much as they spend on all manner of different services, it just makes sense. What are the benefits of partnering with Social Enterprise UK?
So I suppose the benefits, you can look at the benefits in terms of the impact on society, on the environment, that obviously, impacts all of us. And then you can also look at the benefits on your business, of course. So if we look outside the business, first of all, the impact on society and the planet, really, we've got some fantastic stats from our research, which shows the diversity in social enterprises. It shows the sustainability that they're bringing to supply chains and the social value as well. So just to run a few stats across here, if you look at the leadership teams of businesses, 47% of social enterprises are led by women, and that compares to just 16% of other mainstream SMEs. 31% of social enterprises have directors from a Black and minority ethnic background. So, we've got some of these statistics which show you are bringing more diversity in by working with social enterprises. Another brilliant statistic, by the way, is on innovation. So our stats show that social enterprises are more innovative than other businesses. 66% of social enterprises introduced a new product or service in the last year, compared to just 35% of UK businesses as a whole. So I think what these statistics show, you're bringing diversity, you're bringing sustainability, you're bringing innovation in by widening your pool and looking at social enterprises. If you look at the impact across the business, I think a lot of people will recognize these days that your employees are asking for this. In the war for talent, if you want people to join your company, people will want to be seeing that their business, that their employer is going out there and trying to bring a positive and social and environmental benefit to the world. So I think employees are asking for it, investors are asking for it, your customers are asking for it. We talked about public sector already, the Social Value Act, but if you're in consumer markets, the ethical consumer these days obviously wants to see a lot more in that area as well. And FM is a really, really interesting sector, actually. If you look at where social enterprises operate, they work across the creative industries, they work across HR, they work across all sorts of industries, of course, retail, healthcare, education. But FM actually is a really strong area. And we are talking soft services more than hard services, probably in most cases. But a lot of these services that FM companies procure, you will find lots of social enterprises there. It really has been a strong growth area. And that probably makes sense intuitively, because if you think about what social enterprises are, and I've realized I didn't do the definition of social enterprises, I should say the one-line definition is that they're businesses with a social or environmental purpose. So it's right at the heart of what they do. It's not an add-on, it's embedded into the model itself. And one way that social enterprises often build their social mission is through who they employ. So you will often find a business that provides a service, whether it's cleaning, painting, catering, whatever that might be. They might look like any other business on the outside, but actually their mission is to provide training and employment opportunities for a certain group of disadvantaged individuals. So that might be people who have disabilities, it might be people who've come out of prison, it might be long-term unemployed, but whatever that group is, that social enterprise will be delivering their product or service specifically to try and help these people into the labor force. So you would probably expect FM to be a strong area there anyway. A lot of labor intensive areas. So FM is a really powerful sector for us.
I can imagine. Brilliant, Andy. That's all the questions from me. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, not really, but just thanks for having me, Darren. And it's like I said, FM is such an exciting area for us to be working in. We want to see the social enterprise market grow even more. So we really welcome any organizations that want to get in touch with us and just have an exploratory conversation about how we might be able to support them. Whether that's just an informal chat, first of all, about where there are social enterprises you could work with, or looking at how some of our programs might work. Always welcome to connect with anyone. So
brilliant, Andy. Thank you for your time.
Thank
really
you.
appreciate that, and take care.
Great. Thanks, Darren. Have a good day.